So we're gonna have to do this in 2 parts because I just got a phone call right when I said the landslide part. So so you're gonna have to watch part 2, man. That was like 17 minutes. I was gone, so I'm not gonna. I get wound up, man. Sometimes he wants me to get wound up, though. He doesn't always want me. Like, I'll get wound up, I'll get mad, and I know, like, after I walk away, I'm like, God did that, man, because he wants me to go do this, and I know how he does things. But he wanted me to get wound up too because because he's doing something else. He wants me to fucking say what I say, man. Pretty much everything. Like, if it came out of my mouth, it's probably from God. Like, it's very little at this point. Anyway, so there's a landslide on the track. I'm like, whatever, man. But before that, I'm standing outside, and like this guy that's he worships Odin or something. He had all this Viking stuff on him. He's walking. He's got this food. And he gets in his car with his girlfriend. And he gets out. And he goes, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I go, "I'm waiting on the train." He goes, "Oh man, that must be fun." He goes, "Here, I got this food. I got country fried steak and eggs and hash browns. You want it?" I'm like, "Yeah, bro." So he gives me that, man. So I'm eating that. And I'm like, "Oh man, this is gonna be cool, bro. God's gonna take care of me. If I can, sorry, feed me." And then his family walks by, right? And there's this little girl, and she's got this snake. Like this stuffed animal, a stuffed animal snake, right, around her neck. And she goes, "Who takes the train?" And not you today, is what her dad said, right? I didn't think of it. She's got the snake around her neck, right? And then all of a sudden, I'm in there, and there's a landslide. Like it's an act of God. Like, I mean, there was a hailstorm the day before, now there's an act of God. Like, I mean, and this is verifiable. You can go check the Amtrak records, right? So they're sending buses to pick us up, right? And they're like, "Okay, we're gonna bus you guys to Denver." Well, here's the thing, man. Now I'm given a choice, right? Because I was going to Glenwood Springs, right? And God laid it out for me to go to Glenwood Springs, but I think I'm supposed to go to Denver, right? And it's so much easier if I go to Denver. I mean, there's, places everywhere I can make some money real quick. I can get out of there real quick. I go to Glenwood Springs. Glenwood Springs, I mean, it's in the mountains, man. Like, I mean, it's not like desolate, but it's not easy to get. It's not going to be like if I was in Denver. This isn't a big place, man. Right? So we're like, we're sending buses, and we're just going to bus all you guys to Denver. I'm like, cool, man, because I can just get on that bus, and I can just stay on the bus till Denver. I don't have to get off Glenwood Springs. Because they're not going to check my ticket because everybody's just going to get on the bus. And then everybody's going to go to Denver. And everybody was going to Denver. There was nobody going to Glenwood Springs. I was the only one going to Glenwood Springs. In fact, they didn't even want to stop in Glenwood Springs. They wanted to keep going. Because they had checked and they knew that I was on there to go to Glenwood Springs. Right? I'll get to that part, man. So, I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden this video, like, I watched this video. It's like Kurt Russell describing his iconic roles. I don't know. It's like he made it like a month ago. All of a sudden it pops up. I'm like, I'm going to watch it because I was just talking about Snake Plissken, right? And that's the first thing he talks about. He's talking about his role as Snake Plissken or whatever. Blah, blah. And then he talks about the thing, right? They're out in this cold, freezing stuff, which is exactly what I've been. Probably not as cold as that, right? And then the third thing that he talks about in a row is Tombstone. The movie Tombstone, right? He's Wyatt Earp, sheriff, Doc Holliday. They go into Arizona. I'm thinking, oh man, that's a sign I'm supposed to go down to Arizona after I go to Denver. That's what I'm thinking, right? Because Arizona, Tucson, that's where it is, man. Like, I'm thinking, okay, I get up. That's what I need to do. I'm gonna get up to Denver, and then I go down through New Mexico. However, it'd be pretty easy, and I'll go into Phoenix, or I'll go down to Tucson, or whatever, man. I'll go, and then I'm gonna go to Santa Fe, right? That's what I'm thinking, right? And Kurt Russell, and he's talking about Doc Holliday, and he's talking about Val Kilmer, the Doors, the door. You are the door, right? 37, Revelations 3:7. I'm the one I'm going to set a door before you. Val Kilmer plays Jim Morris in The Doors. He plays Doc Holliday. You're like, that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't right this second. But you listen to this story, and you're going to be like, oh my God, your life's a movie. It is, dude. So he's talking about at the end, but in the film, and in the movie, there's a scene like where Wyatt Earp, like, he just went and did some stuff. And Val Kilmer does his famous speech. He says, yeah, he'll be walking on water yet. And like the one guy says to Val Kilmer, right? Doc Holliday says, why you do this? He says, what's he say? He says, you know, he says, I don't know if he says you guys have to look it up. He goes, White Earth's got a lot of friends, or something like that. I don't. Like, I don't have any friends, man. It's like me and Jesus, man, me and God. I don't have any friends. Everybody's betrayed me. I don't have nobody. Why are you doing this? Why are you walking around doing this? Because I don't have nobody else, man. So if I'm going down, man, me and God are going. I'm going down with God and my brother Christ, right? So I'm thinking, I'm like, you know, that popped up, and I'm like, okay, man, that's a confirmation. I'm going to Arizona, man. That's where I'm supposed to go next, right? That clears it up. Oh, thanks, God, man. Blah, 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 right? That's not what it means. And here's the other thing that, like, here's where Taylor Swift ties into this, right? Okay, so reputation, ready for it. She says, you can be my jailer, burnt into this tailor, right? She's talking about the movie Cleopatra, right? Egyptian, the Asp, right? Because Richard Burton plays Mark Antony, and Elizabeth Taylor plays Cleopatra. You can be my jailer that's burnt into this tailor. That's what that means, right? But also, see, God uses stuff, you know. Kurt Russell in Big Trouble in Little China plays Jack Burton. The Pork Chop Express, Jack Burton. He plays Jack Burton in the movie. So, like, how's that tying into Tombstone to Escape from New York, to John Carpenter, to Taylor Swift, and Beyonce's coming out with all this cowboy stuff, and Beyonce's, and there's a bunch of people they've been, like, I've been getting these messages from, right? You know, Selena Gomez, all kinds of stuff. But it would take me forever to go into every little, because it's like constant, right? Well, I'll tell you why. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, cool, man, I'm just gonna get on this bus, bro, and then I'm going into Denver, right? I sleep on the train, I get off the train, come back out, man. They're giving us snacks. I eat a bunch of snacks. You know how much snacks cost on a train? Cokes and stuff. I had probably about $50 worth of Amtrak snacks, man. So I'm like, I'm already up, right? That's what I'm thinking. But this guy gets off the train, right? And he's got this eye patch on. And he's got these crutches. Because Snake gets shot in the leg with that bow and arrow. He gets shot in the leg with the arrow. And he limps out of New York, man. He limps out of the Big Apple with the president, right? He's limping, right? And this guy, he's got these crutches, man, but his head's shaved, man. I'm like, oh my God, that's Snake Plissken. I even made a video of it, man. I'm like, that's Snake Plissken, bro. That's Snake Plissken. And that's more confirmation. I'm supposed to go to Arizona. I'm like, yeah, man. And then the guy walks by and he's wearing this Oregon Ducks sweatshirt on. Well, and I didn't see, there's so much detail. The reason that's important is, right, 2 nights before, I'm staying with Nathan the Prophet, right? And, like, I'm trying to figure out, like, am I supposed to go up to Denver? Am I supposed to go to Salt Lake City, right? I'm sitting there, I'm thinking about, because I know I'm going to come up on money. And I'm like, I'm leaving tomorrow. I didn't tell Nathan the Prophet that. But there's these 2 ducks. Like, I look over and there's this branch. A little tributary, a branch. That's what it's called, a branch. There's these 2 ducks, right? And they're swimming side by side. And then all of a sudden, the one duck takes off and flies towards the mountain. Right? And the other duck stays there. And the other duck turns around and goes back the other way. And Nathan the Prophet always says to me, you know, he'll say this all the time. He goes, okay, in the morning we got to part ways. Because he's like ADHD. He's fucking annoying. I'm like, whatever, dude. I mean, it's like, that's like 20 hours away. All right. You know, let's just say it to me. Oh, he'll say shit over and over and over again. I'm like, all right. But it's like, that duck confirming. I was like, okay, I'm supposed to go up to Denver. And then here's Snake Plissken with Oregon Ducks. Snake Plissken, you know, going in to rescue yeah, I'm going to Denver, right? So I'm sitting there and we're waiting on the bus. The bus doesn't come till like 6:30 at night, right? And I'm sitting there and like all these messages start coming from the angels. Like, following God and all this and that. And I'm like, whatever. The conductor comes out and goes, anybody going to Glenwood Springs? And I heard him. I just sat there and I was like, okay, nobody's going to Glenwood Springs. We're all going to Denver. I'm like, yeah, cool. Because I'm just going to get on that bus. I'm going to go to Denver. Right? Well, we're skipping Glenwood Springs, right? Because that's going to be a big pain in the ass. And then, like, I get some more messages about God and the mountain, blah, 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 and this and that. And before that, I saw the burning, but it's just all kinds of stuff happening. Right? And my conscience starts weighing on me, man. And the guy comes, not feeling bad that I'm going to, like, who cares? They're taking everybody to Denver anyway. Like, I mean, I could go on the bus cheaper. So it's not like I'm stealing from him, and it's all mine anyway. But he comes back, the second time he comes up, anybody going to Glenwood Springs? Because they know that there's one person going to Glenwood Springs. They know that I have a ticket. They know, but they don't want to stop the bus in Glenwood Springs. They just want to go to Denver because it's a big pain in the ass for them. Because they're already behind. They've had to divert all the trains. There's been a rock slide. They don't care. They'll let me take that bus all the way to Denver, and I know that. I don't say anything again. Right? Some more time goes by. The guy comes out the third time. Is anybody going to Glenwood Springs? And by this time, I had gotten so many messages. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to Glenwood Springs. I'm going to Glenwood Springs. One person's going to Glenwood Springs, and it's Isaiah. And the Lord said, who shall I send? I will go. And like, as soon as I say that, I'm like, I might have made the biggest mistake ever. Because I don't even know, man. Because like I said to you before, right? When I was leaving, I was going to get here at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It's going to be warm out, be able to find my way. The buses come and picked us up at 7 o'clock at night. I got to Glenwood at like 8:30 at night, 8:45, and they didn't drop me off in Glenwood. They dropped me off way out of town, like on the edge of Glenwood. They were like, fuck you. And they dropped me out, and it's dark out. I don't know where I'm going, right? And like on the way there, we passed by the place where I completed Zechariah, where he dropped me on my head when we made the first blood covenant, right? So, and I'm like, I start getting a little bit, you know, so it happens every once in a while. I'm usually pretty like confident, but I start getting a little bit like, you know, antsy, man. I'm like, I might have made a mistake. I don't know what to do, man. I should have just went to Denver. Right? And I open up Instagram, right? And I had just been talking about, like, Jesus is my brother, and we're one, and all this. All of a sudden, there's these two lions, and they pop up, and they're walking side by side. And it says, brother, if the world is against you, it's you and me against the world. Right? It's fucking Jesus, man, because it's Friday. It's Good Friday, the landslide. The rocks. It's Ezekiel. I will make a way for you through the mountains. It's Isaiah, who will I send? I will go. Right, but I'm not really feeling too confident about it, right? Because like I'm like, God does this to me a lot. And plus I don't want to freeze. I hate the cold, man. But I got some stuff. I got like a blanket. So I get here, Glenwood Springs. And my phone, like, I don't know your direction. They drop me off. It's nighttime. Phone won't work. The directions won't work. The GPS doesn't work. I mean, because it wouldn't tell me the direction. I need a compass, man. Which way's north? Which way's south? And there's like this light on top of there's a light on top of the mountain here, shining. I'm like, I just noticed. I don't know what it is, man. I noticed it, and I just like, okay, right. I'm out. Like, it catches my attention. So I'm walking, and I think I'm walking towards Glenwood Springs, but I'm not for sure because the phone won't work. And then there's this little park, right? This little park on the way, like a little dog park or something. And I look in it, and there's like this little white stuffed animal. And I had just seen the snake stuffed animal, right, at the train, right? The girl with the snake around her neck, right? Who takes the train? Not you. Right? And I see this stuffed animal. I walk by, and all of a sudden I'm like, I need to go back and see what that is. And I walk in, and I go in, and I thought it was like a rabbit. And I reach down, and it's a little sheep. It is. It's a sheep. It's a little stuffed animal sheep. This is what it was. just randomly sitting there. The cup of Jesus was there. It's a rent. I was like, well, at least I know I'm kind of in the right place, because here's this, right? And then I go over to the table, and there's a cross. There's 2 Legos, but they're in a cross, right? And I walk out of there, and I'm right across the street from Hanging Lake. Hanging Lake. Hanging Lake. Jesus hangs himself. I'm like, I'm in Gethsemane. That's where I am. Because God can make anything he wants to make, whatever he wants to make it. That's where I am. Hanging Lake. There's the lamp. I gotta go walk across the city, right? And then I'm not gonna tell you where I'm going right this second. I will earlier, but until I get there, I'm not making that. Yeah. So I'm walking, but I'm still like, it's cold, man. I don't know where I'm asleep. I can't see. I don't know this place. I don't know where. There's like hot springs, there's like mountains, there's like all kinds of stuff where you can go. I don't actually know where I'm going. My phone won't work. I'm just trying to find my way into the road to get into where I need to go. And I look, and you know what this place is also famous for? Doc Holliday's buried here. Doc Holliday tombstone. Snake Plissken, tombstone, Doc Holliday, man. I got a lot of friends. Like, sheriff. Back in Las Vegas. There's a sheriff, like Doc Holliday. It's me and my brother. My brother's Christ. We're one now. The blood covenant's been made. Hand of Fatima, the book. Father Enrique Salvo was talking about it. Sounds, but when you pray and go back, yeah, God needs me to make this walk. I've known all this before, but now I'm proving it to you, because in the first will be the last will be first. I have to completely, because God had to come down, leave his bloodline on here, die, go back up. Then the bloodline has to follow in the same way, but in a different way. Whatever. Doc Holliday's buried here. I didn't know that. And then I was like, oh, yeah, this isn't about going to Arizona. This is about you're supposed to go to Glenwood Springs, right? But see, here's the thing. I had to make that choice. I could have went to Denver. I could have went to Denver. Everybody would have went to Denver. You know you would have. You would have went to Denver. You wouldn't have got off in Glenwood Springs. You'd have been like, because I didn't know. I didn't know what was there or anything. But I was like, I'm supposed to go to Glenwood Springs, man. Because when I was in the train station, this girl said, God put me in this place for a reason, so I'm just going to stay here. Like, there's all kinds of signs telling me, you need to get off in Glenwood Springs. Well, I thought I was going to Denver, but wouldn't it be easier for me to go to Denver? Who will go? I will go. But God gave me all kinds of choices. And if I would have just stayed on that bus, right? And I could have just stayed on that. I could have said that. Because they didn't want to stop in Glenwood Springs. They would have been happy. I was the only person who got off in Glenwood Springs, man. But this whole thing wouldn't have happened. So it was a choice I personally accepted. You know what I mean? Because in Job, the thing that Satan says to God, man, he says, well, Job just follows you because you give him stuff. Right? You just give him stuff. Yeah, of course. That's why God lets him test Job. This is the same thing. I don't know what I'm going to, I didn't know, I get my head banged a lot, man. I fight like serious spiritual battles. But anyway, so I walk through the town, man, and I see this light on this peak of this mountain. You can't see it right now, but there's a cross. There's a huge cross that's lit up on top of the mountain. When I got around and I got into the city, I looked up and it's like a cross. And I'm like, I need to go that direction. This is a very spiritual town, man. There's a cross, man, right up there. Right up there. It shines real bright. I'm like, that's a good sign. That's Calvary. That's the spiritual Calvary, man. The hill. Right? I make it all the way through the city. Right? Getting down here, I don't know where to go. I'm trying to find a park. And right there, you see that football field? That's a school, and it's right there on the river. But I'm heading towards that cross because it's the only thing that I can see at night. Right? Because the flashlight on my phone disappeared too. I couldn't find it. It wasn't in the settings. It vanished. It was gone. So I didn't have a flashlight. My other flashlight didn't work. The only thing that I could see was this cross. So I walk all the way over to this school, man, because it's really dark over here, and I know I got to find someplace to go to sleep. So I walk through that football field, and there's that shed over there. But what you don't see is on the other side of that shed, there's a big giant G. God. I sleep right there at the foot of the cross. I sleep right there at the foot of the cross because mother behold your son, son behold your mother. Mother behold your son. I didn't even realize this. That just came to me right now. Just right this second as I'm making it. I knew I needed to sleep, and I didn't have any dreams. I was like, okay. I figured I have a dream. No, I slept at the foot of the cross of Calvary. Mother behold your son, son behold your mother. Right, I get up, I slept somewhere else. I'm not going to get into where that was. Then I wake up in the morning, this morning. I'm like, okay, and it's not that bad. And I'm like, all right, that was better than most of the times, but it was still cold. And, but I made it through it. I walk back through the town because I'm find something to eat. Like, there's a cigarette, a whole cigarette laying. I'm like, yeah, thanks. I picked that up. And there's this guy walk by, and I'm not even smoking. He goes, hey, you got a cigarette? That's what everybody says. Nobody ever has any cigarettes, man. Hey, you got a cigarette? Got a cigarette? Even people who have money. Nobody buys cigarettes anymore, right? Got a cigarette? Got a cigarette? I never ask anybody for cigarettes. That's why I give people cigarettes, but I hate doing it. And I don't hate doing it because I'm like stingy. It's because I never ask anybody for cigarettes. I never ask anybody for a cigarette. In fact, I feel weird about it. I feel like, and I'm not asking for a cigarette. Because if you don't have enough money to buy a cigarette, you shouldn't be smoking. So fuck you. But anyway, you know what I mean? Like everybody, you guys, no, I don't have a cigarette, man. No. That's why I like Vegas, because there's cigarettes everywhere. When you don't have a cigarette. But anyway, so I'm talking to this guy. I asked him a couple questions about some stuff, and then I'm like, all right. And then as I'm walking, there's a quarter and 3 pennies in front of this building, standing up, laying on the ground. Well, first I walk by and there's a half cigarette there, and that guy's over there, and I was gonna pick it up, and I'm like, fuck that cigarette, man. I walk forward, and I was turning around to tell this guy there's a cigarette on the ground, and he comes up and picks it up, and he goes on, and then I walk forward, and then for me, there's a quarter and 3 pennies on the ground. So, big deal. You know what that is? What is 2 plus 5? 7. And there's 3 pennies. What is that? 3. 73, 37. 37, 11, 26. Revelations 37. 12, 25, which adds up to 37. To the angel of the church of Philadelphia, I am the one who is holy and true. I have set a door before you, nobody can shut. 37, right? I continue to walk down. I look up at the clock, and right when I get to a clock that because I don't know what time it is, I didn't turn my phone on. I look up, and you know what time it is? 7:30. 37. 7:3. God counts backwards and forwards. The first will be the last will be the first. Right? So I'm walking through here, and we're almost 15 to this is like a day of my life. This goes on every day. This is every day. This is every day, man. So I'm like, knowing that I gotta make a video about this, right? Because God wants me to give the testimony, and I realized that I'm part of the resurrection process. Whether he does this with everybody or not, I'm the Christ too. And now at this point, I don't feel like God or anything. I am the vicar of Christ. The Pope isn't. I am the Christ on earth. Right? Whatever. However you want to take it, I don't know. It's really here nor there, man. But I know that and I think I've just proven it. There's a bunch of other ways that I could prove, but it's really anything about me. So I'm like, I'm going to go see Doc Holliday's grave, right? Right? Because it's and that's where I am right now. This is, I don't even know where it is. I was hiking up here, or coming up, and then I got right to this point, and I was like, I'm stopping. I'm on my way up to go see Doc Holliday's grave. That's why I'm here. So I walk up to Doc Holliday's grave, and there's this hat sitting there. Hat sitting in front, like, it's sitting in front of the sign that explains to you about how Doc Holliday's grave and Pioneer Trail and all this. And I pick it up, and it says CC on it. CC? So? What's that mean? Well, C is the third letter of the alphabet, right? And there's 2 C's. That's 33. The death of Christ. Put a fair miter on his head. It was just sitting there. And then I start reading about this cemetery and how it was formed. And it was made in August of 1886. August 6th is the Feast of the Transfiguration of Jesus Christ. August 1886, Transfiguration is when you can find my name in the Bible. And then Doc Holliday's buried up there, the sheriff, like, and what Kurt Russell says, he's like, I mean, Doc Holliday and whatever were friends, man. Right? One was bad, one was good. But, I mean, there's all kinds of, but it's like confirmation, but I was reading it. And then it was like, then in 1886, they moved this place, right? But they moved it November 1887. November 1887. Well, I'm born in November. Maybe they moved it on my birthday, 11/26. But anyway, that's where we're at right now. Today is Saturday. It's when St. Pliskin goes into Manhattan, the Big Apple, to get the keys of life. It's also Saturday when Christ goes into hell, gets the keys.